Hi everyone, this is Cooking with Kurt. Today, my husband Donald and I are going to show you how to make a Cookieccino cake. These are layers of a buttery cookie crust, coffee chocolate sponge, covered with a light coffee cream, then decorated with Lotus Biscoff.
If you've ever traveled via Delta Airlines and enjoyed their Biscoff cookies, this is the cake for you. This cake was requested by a lot of you. Thanks so much for your requests, and we hope you like this video.
We're going to start by making the buttery cookie layers. Take 1½ cups, which is 3 sticks, of unsalted butter. Cut them into cubes and let it soften at room temperature for about 30 minutes to 1 hour. Let 3 large eggs come to room temperature as well. Place your oven rack in the middle position and preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. In a large mixing bowl and a sieve, add in 3 1/3 cups of all-purpose flour, 1½ teaspoons of baking soda, and 1½ teaspoons of salt. Sift these together, then whisk to combine. In the bowl of your stand mixer, add in the 1½ cups of softened cube butter, 1 1/8 packed cups of dark brown sugar, and 1 1/8 cups of granulated sugar. With a paddle attachment, mix them together on medium speed until the mixture looks fluffy, about 2 to 3 minutes. When the sugars and butter are creamed together, stop the mixer and scrape down the sides and bottom of the bowl as needed. Turn the speed up to medium-high and add in the 3 large room temperature eggs, one at a time, making sure the first egg is mixed in before adding the next one. Add in 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Continue to mix until the wet ingredients are well combined. Turn the mixer down to low speed and slowly add in the dry ingredients. Continue mixing until just combined. Try not to overmix the dough. Detach the bowl from the stand mixer, scrape down the bowl as needed, and fold in any unmixed dry ingredients from the sides until the mixture is uniform. Add in 1 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips and 2 cups of walnuts that have been roughly chopped. Stir them in by hand until the mixture is uniform and the chocolate chips and walnuts look evenly distributed. Take a half sheet pan, which is 13 by 18 inches, and line it with aluminum foil and grease the foil. We like to use butter to grease the foil. Spread the cookie dough in the prepared sheet pan so it makes a nice, even layer. We're going to bake this in the preheated oven at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for 18 to 20 minutes. Or until the tops are golden brown, but the center is still soft. The texture needs to be sliceable when the cookie crust is layered into our cake. Cool the giant cookie in the pan on a metal rack and let it come to room temperature.
While the chocolate cookie is cooling, we're going to work on the coffee chocolate chiffon layers. Take 5 eggs and separate 5 eggs into yolks and whites and let them come to room temperature, about 30 minutes. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, then take a half sheet pan, which is 13 by 18 inches, and line it with parchment paper. Do not grease the pan or the parchment paper. In a large bowl with a sieve, add in 1 1/4 cups of cake flour, 1/3 cup of unsweetened natural cocoa powder, 1 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, a 1/3 cup plus 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar, half a teaspoon of salt, and 1 tablespoon of espresso powder. Sift these together. Then whisk to combine. Add in the 5 room temperature egg yolks, a 1/3 cup plus 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil, 2/3 cup of hot-brewed coffee, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Whisk these together just until the mixture is smooth and well blended. In the bowl of your stand mixer, add in the 5 room temperature egg whites and half a teaspoon of cream of tartar, and with the whisk attachment, beat on medium speed until it's frothy. Then increase to medium-high speed and very slowly add in 1/3 cup plus 1 tablespoon granulated sugar while continuing to beat. When all the sugar has been added, increase to high speed and continue beating until you see stiff, glossy peaks. It should look something like this. Then 1/3 at a time, very gently fold in this meringue mixture into the chiffon batter until it is well combined and you no longer see any streaks. Pour this batter into the prepared half sheet pan and smooth the top with a spatula as much as possible. We're going to bake these in our preheated oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 to 23 minutes, or until the surface springs back when gently pressed. Place the pan on a metal rack and let it cool completely to room temperature. By now, the cookie cake should have cooled to room temperature. Use the foil to lift the cookie cake off the pan and onto a smooth, clean surface. Take an 8-inch cake ring and press it into the bottom right corner of your cake, twisting it to make your first full 8-inch cookie round. Then along the opposite top edge of the cake, press the cake ring in again, twisting it to make your second full 8-inch cake round. Peel off the scraps to separate 2 full rounds. Then cut the aluminum foil in half so the rounds are separated. These 2 full rounds will be used as the cookie layers of our Cookieccino cake. Now you can eat the remaining layers of cookie scraps.
Have them for breakfast or snacks over the next week.
The breakfast of champions. Similarly, when the coffee chocolate sponge layer has cooled to room temperature, use a knife to gently unstick the sides as needed. Dust the top with some powdered sugar to prevent this surface from sticking once inverted. Place a rectangular piece of parchment paper that's bigger than the cake on top and invert the cake onto the parchment paper. Then slowly peel off the parchment paper the cake was baked with. Take an 8-inch cake ring, this is the same cake ring we used for the cookie cake, and press it into one corner of your chocolate sponge, twisting it to make your first full 8-inch round. Then along the opposite top edge of the sponge, press the cake ring in again, twisting it to make your second full 8-inch round. These 2 full rounds will be used as the coffee chocolate sponge layers in the Cookieccino cake. You can now eat the remaining layers of the coffee chocolate sponge cake. The final component to making this cake is to make the coffee cream filling and frosting. Let 8 ounces of cream cheese come to room temperature. In the bowl of your stand mixer, add in 8 ounces of room temperature cream cheese, half a cup of granulated sugar, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and half a teaspoon of instant espresso. Then using a paddle attachment, beat them together till the cream cheese has softened and the mixture is smooth, about 5 minutes on medium-high speed. Scrape down the bowl for any unmixed cream cheese as needed. Then while beating on medium-low speed, slowly add in 3 cups of very cold heavy cream and continue to beat for about 1 minute until the cream cheese and heavy cream are combined and uniform. Stop the mixer and scrape down the paddle attachment and the bowl. Switch to the whisk attachment and continue beating on high speed until the mixture forms very stiff peaks. It should look something like this. Leave this frosting in the fridge till you're ready to use it.
Now that we have all the components ready, we're ready to assemble the cake. Take a cake board that's larger than 8 inches, this is a 10-inch diameter cake board, and place it on a revolving cake stand. Dab a big dollop of frosting in the center of the cake board to prevent the cookie from sliding around. Put a large plate, as big or bigger than the cookie, upside down over one of the cookies. Invert the cookie onto the plate, peel off the foil the cookie was baked with, then slide the cookie onto the cake board. Adjust it as needed so that it's centered. Spread about 1 cup of the coffee frosting mixture on top, creating an even and flat layer as much as possible. Place the first layer of coffee chocolate sponge on top. Spread another 1 cup of the coffee frosting mixture on top, again spreading it evenly. Place the second 8-inch cookie round on top using the same method as before by inverting it onto a plate, peeling off the foil, then sliding it into place on the cake. Spread another 1 cup of the coffee frosting mixture on top, spreading it evenly. Then place the second chocolate sponge on top. Fill in the gaps on the sides with frosting and cover the sides of the cake with a thin layer of the coffee cream frosting, and then the same thing with the top of the cake. Use a spatula to smooth out this thin crumb coat while rotating the revolving cake stand. This thin crumb coat should catch any crumbs. We're going to place this cake in the fridge for about 20 minutes to let the crumb coat firm up a bit. Also place the unused cream frosting in the fridge. Make sure to save at least 1 cup of frosting for decorations on top. When the crumb coat has hardened, apply a final layer of the coffee cream frosting around the sides of the cake, as well as the top. And again, use a spatula or a bench scraper to smoothen out the surfaces as much as possible while rotating the revolving cake stand. Then clean any stray frosting from the base of the cake. Place this cake in the fridge for the frosting to harden while we work on the Biscoff cream. So interestingly, the name Biscoff is short for biscuits with coffee.
Oh, that is interesting. No wonder they go so well together.
Right? And Lotus Biscoff is a brand of speculoos, which is the generic name for this type of biscuit that originated in Belgium. So, take the 1 cup of frosting that had been set aside and add in 1/4 cup of Biscoff cookie butter. Fold these together until they are well combined. Attach a large round tip, I'm using a number 2A tip, to a piping bag and transfer the Biscoff cream mixture into the piping bag. With the help of a revolving cake stand, pipe the Biscoff cream into concentric circles on the top surface of the cake, the largest circle stopping around 1 inch away from the edge of the cake. Then with an offset spatula, flatten the circles so that you get a smooth and even circle of Biscoff cream on the top surface. Use the offset spatula to create a simple spiral pattern on top of the cake. Place the tip of the spatula at the center of the cake, then with the spatula at an angle so that only the tip of it is touching the cake, turn the revolving cake stand while dragging the spatula towards the outer edge to create a spiral pattern on the Biscoff cream. In a food processor, add in 4 Biscoff cookies and pulse until you get fine crumbs. Sprinkle these Biscoff crumbles around the outer circumference of the top surface. Then take 6 Biscoff cookies and with a sharp knife, cut them into small, irregular squares. Line the circumference along the side of the cake, making an undulating trail of Biscoff pieces. Press these pieces into the frosting so they stick. Finally, attach a small round tip, I'm using a number 3 tip, to a piping bag. Add in about 2 tablespoons of Biscoff cookie butter into the bag. We're going to outline the trail of Biscoff pieces with the Biscoff cookie butter on the top. This is like drawing with a crayon. Then do the same thing on the bottom, creating a border or frame. Let the finished cake rest in the fridge overnight for the layers to set completely. And there it is, Cookieccino Cake with layers of cookie crust, coffee chocolate sponge, light coffee cream, and decorated with Lotus Biscoff. Ang sarap!
Yum!
So good. The Biscoff, chocolate, and coffee flavors go so well together.
I mean, you had me at the buttery cookie crust. Delicious.
Thank you so much for watching. Please let us know in the comment section below if you're planning to make this Cookieccino cake. Send us pictures of your creations on Facebook and Instagram. The links are below. And if you like this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Cooking with Kurt.
And don't forget to click on the bell so you get notified when we post new cooking videos. And for those written recipes, be sure to check out cookingwithkurt.com.
Maraming salamat!